Afghan women protesting on the streets demanding better security and the right to education. The latest protest in Afghanistan began after last week's suicide attack on an education center in Kabul that killed more than 50 people, most of them schoolgirls. The attack took place in the western part of the city, home to a Hazara Shia community targeted by extremist groups in the past few years. Protesters say they are raising their voice to seek justice for the attack victims and the reopening of girls' secondary schools.
We are not supported by any political party. We are not against any political group. Our demand is security and education. We want the reopening of the schools and an end to the genocide of our Hazara compatriots.
This is not the first time Afghan women have protested for their rights after the Taliban took over and imposed repressive measures against women. 36-year-old Afghan activist who has taken part in women's protests in Kabul says that all too often they protest alone.
Women do not even have their families' support. When we protested, even our relatives did not stand with us. In Afghanistan, it is considered shameful if a woman takes to the street and speaks out for her rights.
The recent protests by Afghan women follow widespread protests in neighboring Iran over the September death of a woman who was detained by the country's morality police. However, the Afghan protests are smaller and limited only to a few cities. Iranian journalist and activist Soraya Lennie says that it's because women in Iran have long enjoyed wider support.
But men are definitely out in the streets with women, and I think traditionally in Iran there is a history of men and women protesting together.
But there are parallels between the two countries.
One of the things that's so striking in both countries is the courage of these protesters who are willing to literally risk death to be heard and to fight back against this type of oppression.
Barr says that women in both countries are facing regimes demonstrating willingness to enforce this subjugation of women through really extreme forms of violence. Nazrana Ghaffar Yousufzai, VOA News, Washington.